Hi students, good morning. In the last class, we found that the bending stresses for I section having symmetric and unsymmetric diagram, and also we drawn the bending stress distribution diagram across the section of I section. In this class, some more problems we are going to solve for different types of sections. The slide shows, the first slide in this class shows that T section problem, example 10. A cast iron beam of T section as shown in figure. The beam is simply supported on a span of 8 meters. The beam carries a uniformly distributed load of 1.5 kilonewtons per meter on entire span. Determine the maximum tensile and compressive stresses. So the given problem, in a given problem, what is the type of a beam which is given in the problem? Type of beam is simply supported beam, and type of cross section is a T cross section, and type of load is UDL, uniformly distributed load of 1.5 kilonewtons per meter. So we have to find the stresses on both sides, on topmost layer and bottommost layer. As explained in earlier class, the outermost layers induced the maximum stresses. Either it is compressive or tensile. If it is a cantilever beam, the upper part of the beam is tensile and bottom part of the beam is compression. And if it is a simply supported beam, while bending of simply supported beam, the upper part of the beam is induced compressive stresses and bottom part of the beam is induced tensile stresses. So this is a simply supported beam problem. So upper part, that means outermost layer of the topmost layer of the beam is subjected to compressive, and bottommost layer of the beam is tensile. So here we have to determine the maximum tensile and compressive stresses. Before going to the problem, first of all, let us write the given data which is in the problem. What is the length of the beam, simply supported beam is 8 meters, that is 8000 mm. UDL is 1.5 kilonewtons per meter, he is given in the problem. If we convert into the Newton per mm, 1.5 newtons per mm itself, and sigma T max and sigma C max, that is the maximum tensile stress and maximum compressive stress we have to find for this T section. Observe this T section having the flange, one flange and one web. Flange having the length is 100 mm, and thickness is 20 mm. And also the web is also there. The vertical part of the T section is called the web. Horizontal part of the T section is flange. The web having the dimensions 80 mm length and 20 mm thickness. The overall height of the T section is 100 mm. For this T section, we have to locate first of all centroid and also neutral axis, which is passing through the centroid. Let us find the centroid location by using the formula y bar is equal to a1 y1 plus a2 y2 by a1 plus a2. This is the first moment of area. Y bar is equal to distance of CG from the bottom layer. Let us take the y bar is distance of CG from the bottom layer. From this bottom layer, neutral, the centroidal axis distance, let us take this as y bar. To find this y bar, we can take the equation a1 y1 plus a2 y2 by a1 plus a2. This equation already you studied or learned in the engineering mechanics, how to locate the centroid or center of gravity of a particular area or plane. So in this a1 is the flange is taken as a1 and the web is taken as 2. So a1 is a area of the first area and the second web area is a2, flange area is a1. y1 y2 means the a cross center of gravity, that is center of gravity of first area from the bottom layer and center of gravity of the second area from the bottom layer. Distances of center of gravity, their own center of gravity is from bottom layer. So a1 is the 100 mm into 20 mm. The flange area is 100 into 20 into what is the y1? y1 is the center of gravity of first area from the bottom layer. This is the center of gravity. It is a rectangle. A center of gravity must be at the mid depth. So from this place to this place is 10 mm. Remaining distance is 80 mm. 80 plus 20 by 2. That is at 80 plus 20 by 2, 90 mm. From bottom layer, center of gravity of the first layer, first area is 90 mm. 80 plus 20 by 2. Clear, students? Next is A2, area of the web. It is the height of the web is 80 and thickness of the web is 20. 80 into 20 is there. And Y2 means the center of gravity of web portion from the bottom layer. Where is the center of gravity of second area? Second web is the web length height is 80 mm. It is also a rectangle. The center of gravity must be located at the mid depth. That is from the bottom to center of gravity is 40 mm. That is 80 by 2 is the Y2. So like this, we have to find the Y bar, that is 67.77 distance from the bottom layer. That is the Y bar is distance of neutral axis or centroidal axis from the bottom layer is 67.77 mm. And also the layer, the bottommost layer distance from the neutral axis is also 67.77 itself. And topmost layer distance from the neutral axis is remaining distance 100 minus 67.77, 32.33 or 32.23 mm. 32.23 mm distance from the neutral axis to top layer. Clear, students? Like this, first of all, you have to locate the neutral axis position from the bottom layer. After locating the neutral axis, find the moment of inertia about neutral axis. Here two areas are there. Two areas moment of inertia about neutral axis you have to find out. So moment of inertia is neutral axis lies at a distance of 67.77 mm from the bottom face, or 100 minus 67.77, that is 32.23 mm from the top face. So now moment of inertia of the section about neutral axis is given by I equal to I1 plus I2. There are two areas are there, first area, second area, flange area and web area. I1 is the moment of inertia of flange about neutral axis. I2 is the moment of inertia of web about neutral axis. Moment of inertia of top flange about neutral axis. I1 equal to moment of inertia of top flange about CG, its own CG, plus area of the flange into distance of its CG from neutral axis square. This is the parallax theorem. According to the parallax theorem, the moment of inertia can be shifted from its CG to neutral axis. So we are finding the moment of inertia of this top flange about neutral axis. We know that the moment of inertia of top flange about its own CG, the moment of inertia about its own CG formula is BdQ by 12. So 100 into 20 Q by 12. But we should know the moment of inertia of top flange about neutral axis. We must shift the moment of inertia from its own CG to neutral axis. If we want to shift the moment of inertia from its own CG to neutral axis, use the parallax theorem. Parallax theorem is that moment of inertia about its own CG plus area of that particular portion, that is A1. It is IG1, center of gravity of the first area, into distance between two axes square. Distance between two axes means the distance of CG from neutral axis square. This distance. Okay. So let us take that is Y1 or Y1 square or Y1 bar square. It is Y1 bar. If it is taken as Y1 bar, the center of gravity of the second area from neutral axis is taken as Y2 bar. Whatever the notations you follow, the distance between two axes is taken as Y1 bar, one is, another one is Y2 bar. Like this, you have to find the moment of inertia about flange, that is first area, about neutral axis. So in this moment of inertia of flange about its own CG is 100 into 20 cube by 12, because it is BD cube by 12, plus A1 is 100 into 20 into the distance between these two. How to get this distance between these two? The distance between neutral axis and topmost layer is 32.23. From this 32.23 minus 10, then we can get the distance between two axes. So 32.23 minus 10 mm, that is we can get the 22.23 mm is there. 22.23 square. We must substitute at Y1 bar square, Y1 bar 22.23. Clear, students? Like that, distance between two axes square, we must substitute in the parallax theorem. So I1 is 100 into 20 cube by 12. This is the moment of inertia about its own CG plus area A1 100 into 20 into 32.23 minus 10 whole square. So after getting the I1 value 10555012.5 millimeter power 4, similarly we can find the moment of inertia of second area, that is web portion, about the neutral axis. Moment of inertia of web about neutral axis is equal to moment of inertia of web about its own CG plus second web area into distance of its CG, distance of web CG from neutral axis square. So moment of inertia about its own CG for the web portion, it's having the height is that is thickness is 80 and breadth is 20. Breadth and depth are we know that the breadth and depth of the web. Therefore, the moment of inertia of this web portion about its own CG is BD cube by 12. That is B is 20, D is 80 here. 20 into 80 cube by 12 is the moment of inertia about its own CG. 20 into 80 cube by 12 plus web area is 80 into 20 into distance of its CG from neutral axis. Distance of its CG from neutral axis means for this CG, center of gravity for the web portion is, for example, at this place. This is the distance at a distance of from the bottom layer is 40 mm, because total height of the web is 80 mm. Center of gravity of the web must be at mid depth, center of the web, 40 mm from bottom. So we should know the distance between neutral axis and center of gravity of the web portion. So total distance, it is the 67.77 from the bottom layer. If you subtract from the 67.77 40 mm, you should subtract 40 mm from 67.77, then we can get the distance between these two axes, neutral axis and center of gravity of the second area. So distance between two axes is here 67.77 minus 40. 67.77 minus 40 square. So we can get the moment of inertia of second area, that is web area, 2087-209.9 mm power 4. These are the two moment of inertias in the T section about neutral axis. If we summing up these two values, then we can get the overall moment of inertia of section about neutral axis is 314.2222.4 mm power 4. This is the value of moment of inertia of T section about neutral axis. After getting the moment of inertia For simply supported beam, the maximum tensile stress will be extreme bottom fiber. Maximum tensile stress will be extreme bottom fiber, and maximum compressive stress will be extreme top fiber. How to know that point? Simply supported beam like this, the beam is supported at its ends like this. After loading UDL, it bends like an out-of cycle like this. If bends, the simply supported beam bends like an out-of cycle like this. The upper part of the portion is, that is the extreme top layer, subjected to maximum compression because it is trying to contract, and the bottom part of that is the extreme top bottom layer is subjected to maximum tensile stress because it is trying to expand during bending. So the maximum tensile stress will be extreme bottom layer, maximum tensile in this layer, and maximum compressive stress will be at the extreme top layer. Clear, students? So maximum bending moment is given by, for the given simply supported beam with UDL, where is the maximum bending moment will be developed? At the center, at the midpoint of the beam. What is that value? Value of the maximum bending moment at the center is WL square by 8 is the formula. If W is the uniformly distributed load, L is the length of the beam, WL square by 8 is the maximum bending moment for simply supported beam with UDL. So from this formula, we can calculate the maximum bending moment as 1.5 kilonewtons per meter or 1.5 Newton per mm is given in the problem UDL value. 1.5 into length of the beam is 8000 mm, 8000 square by 8. Then we can get the maximum bending moment in Newton mm. 12 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton mm is the maximum bending moment at the center. Now using the bending equation, what is the bending equation? Sigma by y equal to m by I. Also equal to E by R is there. We should know, we should use these two parameters in this problem. Sigma by y equal to m by I. From this we can write sigma max is equal to maximum bending stress is equal to m maximum, maximum bending moment, and moment of inertia about neutral axis, and extreme fiber distance from neutral axis, that is y maximum. Clear, students? Here two y maximums are there. Y maximum means from the neutral axis distance if it is simply supported beam like this, this is the neutral layer. From neutral layer it is a T section. Of course it is T section. For T section the neutral layer is nearer to the top flange like this. It is not in center. The y maximum means the extreme fibers distance from the neutral layer. Here the neutral layer from the bottom layer is the one of the y maximum. It is taken as yt maximum because the bottom layer subjected to tensile. So bottom layer, extreme bottom layer is maximum distance from the neutral layer, that is yt maximum. We can take it as yt maximum, and the distance of topmost layer from the neutral layer is taken as yc maximum because it is a compressive layer, compressive stress layer, which is also maximum distance to uppermost layer is maximum distance from the neutral layer. So yc maximum, yt maximum, both are there in this case. For unsymmetric section, we should take in place of y maximum, yt maximum and yc maximum. In place of, if it is a symmetric section, yt maximum, yc maximum are equal. Both are in the at the same distance from the neutral axis. That's why we are taking y maximum till now. But unsymmetric section, for unsymmetric section, both are different. Both are different distances from neutral axis. Okay, students? So here, upper layer is yc maximum distance, and the bottom layer from the neutral axis is taken as yt maximum. So here we are going to find that both tensile maximum, tensile and maximum compressive stresses. From this equation, maximum tensile stress, to find the maximum tensile stress, sigma T maximum. In place of sigma maximum, simply write sigma T maximum. T is the tensile maximum tensile stress which occurs in the bottommost layer. So y maximum, which is constant throughout the section, and I is moment of inertia, which is also constant throughout the section and varies across the section, is y maximum. So yt maximum is the distance of extreme bottom layer from the neutral axis. So extreme bottom layer distance is 67.77. We find out already. So upon substitution of maximum bending moment, moment of inertia, and YT maximum. Your YT maximum, is neutral axis. Neutral axis lies at a distance of 67.77 millimeter from bottom face. This is the YT maximum. It becomes YT maximum 32.23 mm from the top face. It becomes YC maximum distance. Clear, students? So upon substitution of YT maximum as 67.77, we can get maximum tensile stress is 258.81 newtons per mm square, or 258.81 megapascals. So similarly, maximum compressive stress, which is induced in the topmost layer, extreme top layer, is a distance of 32.23 from neutral axis. So we can take it as YC maximum as 32.23 here. Remaining two are same as that of the equation which is substitute in the maximum tensile stress equation. 12 into 10 to the power of 6 by 314.2222.4 is the, which are constant throughout the section. That's why we are placing same values, and only variable is YC. In place of YT maximum, YC maximum value should substitute. If it substitute YC maximum, then we can get the sigma C maximum, that is the maximum compressive stress in the uppermost layer, 32.23. Upon substitution, we can get the 123.08 megapascals is the stress induced in the uppermost extreme top layer, and 258.81 megapascals of stress induced in the extreme bottom layer. These are the maximum tensile and maximum compressive stresses induced in the T section. So upon calculation, after calculation of these two values, we can draw the stress distribution diagram across the T section. Again, after completion of problem, draw the T shape like this: 100 mm, 180 mm web, and 20 mm. Like this, you have to draw the T section again, and from the T section, draw three lines from the neutral axis. One of the line, extreme top layer line, and extreme bottom layer line. So after extending the line from top, neutral axis, and bottom layers, draw vertical line adjacent to the T section. After drawing the vertical line, okay, the stresses induced in the extreme bottom layer is 258.81. Just now we calculated that the maximum tensile stress is 258.81 megapascals, which is induced in the bottommost layer, and maximum compressive stress is 123.08 megapascals, which is induced in the topmost layer. So locate from this vertical line 258.81 megapascals at a certain distance, okay? And from that point, after locating this point, join this point with a neutral axis point. Okay, extend this inclined line by joining the 258.81 megapascals and the point which is located on the neutral axis. Join and extend it up to extreme top layer. This up to extreme top layer, which is intersecting the line which is drawn from the top layer, from this point to vertical line which represents the maximum compressive stress, that is 123.08. So maximum tensile stress, the tensile means positive. From this vertical line, you have to locate the point on the right side of the vertical line. Locate any point at certain distance somewhere else. After locating that point, join this point with the neutral axis point and extend up to topmost layer, which indicates the maximum compressive. Compressive means the negative value. Compression stresses are taken as negative. That's why the compression stress, the compressive stresses which are indicated left-hand side of the vertical line. So this is the 123.08 megapascal. This is the 258.81, which is having a more distance from vertical line than the topmost layer. This distance is very less when compared to this distance. Because it is 258.81, it is 123.08 megapascals. Clear, students? Like this, you have to draw the bending stress distribution across the T section after calculating the stresses values. This is the T section problem. Whatever the section is given in the problem, you have to find out the moment of inertia first and locate the CG value like this. Locate the CG point. After locating the CG point, draw a neutral axis. You have to find then the moment of inertia of whole section about neutral axis, whatever the areas involved in that section. After finding the neutral axis moment of inertia, go for bending equation and find the whatever the parameter asking in the problem. Either it is maximum bending moment or maximum bending stress. Whatever it is, use bending equation and find the parameter which is asked in the problem. But before that, you should know the maximum bending moment equations for the simple beams for different types of loads. Already I explained different types of beams with the different types of loads where the maximum bending moment occurs and what are the formulas which are used generally for the standard beams for maximum bending moment. Already I explained in the previous videos. Go through those two videos and understand the concepts which are related to standard beams. Clear, students? And in this unit, in this part of the unit, bending stress part, we are solving a last problem, that is example 11. In this problem, purely it is based on the section modulus. Section modulus means it is a Z, it is denoted by Z, it is the ratio of moment of inertia of section to the maximum, that is the extreme fiber distance from neutral axis, that is Y maximum. Clear, students? So I by Y maximum is the Z value. For which section the Z value is more, that section having the highest strength. The strength of that beam section depends on its section modulus. If the section modulus is maximum, then strength of that section is also maximum. For that concept, by that concept, we should derive the maximum strength of beam from the circular section and dimensions of the beam which are required for maximum strength. So look at the problem, example 11. A circular log means is a timber beam, wood beam. A circular section beam of timber has diameter capital D. Capital D is the diameter of the timber beam which having circular section. Find the dimensions of the strongest rectangular section one can cut from this. From this circular cross section, we should cut the rectangular section. For this rectangular section, the strength of the rectangular section must be high. How to cut to increase the for the maximum strength of the rectangular section? So let us take the circular section of diameter D and cut the rectangular section from that circular timber beam having the dimensions. B is the breadth of the rectangular section, D is the depth of the rectangular section. Clear, students? So this is the circular section of the timber beam, and this is a rectangular section which is cutting from the circular section. So from the diagram, let the width of the and depth of the strongest section that can be cut from the log be small b and d respectively, breadth and depth. Then from the diagram we can write that from this triangle, right angle triangle, hypotenuse square d square, capital D square is equal to adjacent square, that is b square, plus this is the opposite square, that is the d square. Clear, students? Capital D square is equal to small b square plus small d square. From this small d square is equal to capital D square minus small b square is the equation from the diagram. For a rectangular section, what is the moment of inertia of this rectangular section? Moment of inertia for the rectangular section about neutral axis is BdQ by 12. As we know that BdQ by 12 is the moment of inertia about neutral axis. So Y maximum, what is the Y maximum? If it is neutral axis, the area, what is the Y maximum for this rectangular section? It is the half of the depth. Y maximum is extreme layer from the neutral axis. This is the half of the depth, that is the d by 2. So therefore section modulus for the rectangular section which is cutting from the circular section is I by Y maximum. So after getting the section modulus, it is BD squared by 6. After substitution of these two values in this equation, we can get the BD squared by 6 is the section modulus for the rectangular section. So for this 1 by 6 into B as it is, we are writing, and in place of D square we can substitute capital D square minus small b square. Capital D is the diameter of the timber beam from which we are cutting the rectangular section. So from this 1 by 6 into BD square minus B cube. This is the equation for section modulus for this rectangular section in place of in terms of diameter of the circular section. For this, Z is maximum. The beam is strongest. Whenever the beam is strongest, if the section modulus is maximum for that section. If Z value is maximum for rectangular section, that beam is strongest. Hence, the condition for that, how to get the maximum section modulus? If we derive this section modulus equation with respect to breadth of the section, because the section modulus is in terms of B and capital D. D is the constant which is given in the problem. D is the diameter of the circular section which is constant. We should not change, or we cannot change the diameter of the circular section which is given. From that diameter section, that is from the circular section, we should cut the rectangular section for particular breadth and depth. So variable is B. Variable is B. So with respect to B, we can derive the equation for section modulus and then equate to 0. Then we can get the condition, that is the breadth which is used for the rectangular section for strongest section. So derive differentiate this section modulus equation with respect to breadth of the rectangular section and equate to 0. So after differentiation, 1 by 6 d square minus 3b square. After differentiation of this equation with respect to b, 1 by 6 is the constant. BD square, B is the, with respect to B, BD square is the differentiation is d square itself. For the differentiation of B is 1, therefore 1 by 6 d square minus, for the b cube, 3b square is the differentiation. So 1 by 6 d square minus 3b square, then equate to 0, that is d square is equal to, it is approximately 3b square. D square minus 3b square is equal to 0. 6 into 0, 0. Therefore, d square is equal to 3b square. From this, b equal to, we should know the b, breadth, how much breadth we should maintain. We should maintain for strongest beam, rectangular beam. So, b equal to d by root 3. We can get from the above equation, b breadth of the rectangular section we should cut from the circular section is equal to 1 by root 3 times the diameter of the circular section. If we b breadth of the rectangular sections maintain d by root 3, then that section is strongest. After getting the breadth, how to get the depth? We know that relation between the BD and capital D. So after getting the small b, d by root 3, therefore d square is equal to capital D square minus b in place of b square, that is the d square by 3. Therefore d equal to square root of d square minus b square. From this we can get the depth of the section, rectangular section, d into root 2 by 3. Root 2 by 3. Therefore depth of the section is root of 2 by 3 into d. Breadth of the section should be maintained 1 by root 3 times the capital D, that is the diameter of the circular section given. Thus the dimensions of the strongest beam, the strongest rectangular beam we should cut from the circular section having the dimensions d by root 3 wide by root 2 by 3 d diameter deep, that is the depth. We should maintain the depth as this value and breadth as this value. Then only the strongest section which we can produce from the circular section.